Hello and welcome to Biblically Inerrant Friday, also known as Pooper Scooper Wednesdays. Anyways, this is the Christian Anarchist, and as usual, I try to be random. Anyways, for the first bit, I would just like to have a conversation with someone who I had an interesting chat with outside of a live broadcast or recorded broadcast, depending on if you're watching this at a later time. And it is over the topic of whether or not the Bible is trying to be a scientific uh, book concerning how is the literature meant to be, what kind of message is being displayed within it. So we have Mark Anthony. He's been on here before, and some of you, if you are an atheist or or a Christian, maybe who knows, might be G-Man, for example, who has heard of him before. You may have heard of his channel. So let's get started. So, Mark, explain what you were saying concerning the Bible and what your claim was.
All right. Well, first I want to say thank you for having me. I kind of enjoy your hangouts above like some of the other hangouts that's on here. That's why you kind of don't see me that much in hangouts because it's like kind of an echo chamber and just a lot of cutting each other off and toxicity or whatever you want to call
Mhm.
it.
I'd just like to point out your volume sounding a little low at the moment.
Oh, okay. All right. So maybe that's because am I a little bit louder now?
Oh yeah, you're a bit better now.
All right. So, yeah, I think it's pretty much kind of simple. The the book makes a lot of scientific claims, and as I said prior to this hangout, the only reason why you wrote me saying that the Bible is not a book on science is because it's wrong. And
Hmm.
I was saying that if, for example, it happened to be right about anything, you probably would consider it a semi-science, so
Can I
it is a book on science. It's just wrong. So,
can I
you
just
know,
say something?
Hold on. I'm gonna say
All
we're
right.
gonna because
I have
he
a
doesn't
couple
have.
thoughts to chime in. I can wait.
Okay, so one thing I do want to point out is now the reason I disagree is because though it does, like you say, make scientific claims or focuses on the scientific claims of its time, it is not by the Bible is not by any means, which as God intended it with its purpose, to be a science book, but rather a book of theology. That's what its main and only sole purpose is, and it uses the science of the people's time to which it was written in to relay the theological truths, such as what you stated, Genesis chapter 1, verse 1, being a scientific claim. It is just, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Well, the theological message in that is just, who was the creator? Well, it was God. Why was this needed? Because the surrounding pagan lands were saying that this particular God was creator. Oh no, this particular one was the creator. Who is the true creator? Genesis 1, verse 1 is making the statement. That's the theological thing. I go into this in an essay I wrote where the technique that is we're familiar with on this is called theological messaging. And there are people that study this and explain it, such as Dr. Michael S. Heiser. He calls it theological messaging, but a person by the name of Dennis O. Lamero, he calls this the message incident principle. Either way, it's still the same thing. But basically, he states that it's this quote, the message incident principle is restricted to statements about the physical world as understood by an ancient science and conceived through an ancient phenomenological perspective. So, of course, it's going to focus things on their time and their understanding concerning science. But what is the theology that is surrounding this thing? Why is this being talked about? It's not trying to say, okay, this is how you dissect something. It's trying to tell you something theologically.
yeah, well, that's a nice response, and it sounds very good. You might have spent a lot of time on that,
Mhm.
but the one thing you're missing out on is that first of all, these are things that you said, and I want to make this clear real quick. I
Mhm.
don't believe that anybody is a Christian unless they follow the whole Bible. That's just my position on it. And it
Mhm.
basically means like, and I do know like we talked about like a lot of things in Psalms or poems, right? So I'm not talking about that. I'm not saying you have to take every poem and every analogy literal, but there's some like literal we try to weasel out of things, like weasel out of the nonsense that's in the Bible. And anybody who ever weasels out things that are in the Bible, or it says one thing and it clearly says it, it could be God himself saying something. And then you guys, I mean, people who try to justify and apologize, they say no, but this really means that. Listen, I don't care what you tell me what it means. I'm only ever going to talk about what the Bible actually says. And the reason is, I'm not being like a jerk or nothing. The reason is because I've heard literally 1,000 different interpretations of what it means. So I'm not sitting here, I'm just not doing that. I'm like, okay, so let's talk about what it actually says.
Hmm.
So it never actually says, oh, this is a book on theology. It starts off with the creation of matter, and and these things are stated as fact. These things, they do not say, like you said something like, yeah, as they meant as they knew at the time.
Hmm.
But it never says, well, as far as we know right now, the cure for leprosy is wiping a bird blood on your forehead.
Of
No,
course not, because we're
it
not the
it says
intended
it said,
audience.
I know, but listen, it says it directly,
Yeah,
and
to who?
it says it directly. So the
Right, but to
yeah,
who
when
though?
you
Who's the
when you say
audience?
when you say to who, right?
Hmm.
As long as you point out something in the Bible where it says this doesn't apply after 2015 or what, if you point out something like that,
Your
then
microphone is really bad on my end.
oh,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I'm getting further away from my phone. I'm sorry.
that's
But
cool.
if you when you say to who, if you point out something where it says, "Hey, listen, this is only to you, and this is only to be taken seriously for this certain amount of time," then you have a point. But if you're not pointing out it saying that, then it's kind of irrelevant to me. I'm not saying it's irrelevant to you. I'm just saying it's irrelevant to me because I'm only talking.
We do have instances like what you're saying, like in Leviticus and uh, Deuteronomy and so forth, before God gives the set of commands. He's saying, and the Lord spoke unto Moses and the Israelites, saying, I give these commandments unto you. And he's saying you, he's referring to Moses and the Israelites at that time, and he gives the reason why, and specifically to them. So there are times that we have those kind of things. Plus, we even have the epistles. There, we have the introduction of who they are addressed to in the beginning and why they are being addressed.
That's fine, but does it say after, let's say, 900 AD,
Hmm.
readers of this book stop taking this literally? Does it ever say that?
Sometime after 980, people
No,
stopped.
no, no, no. I'm just saying that was a random number. I'm basically saying it never says, "Hey, look, I was only." It never says that you should stop taking what he says seriously. So whenever y'all try to do that, I really like. It's like, come on, like, do you
Well,
even Bible, bro?
well, that's where the church is to help also keep the tradition of when these scriptures are passed down. That's why we see this in the early church writings, which how they were understood. Some of them were even taught by the disciples themselves. Clement of Rome traveled with St. Paul, for instance. Then you have Ignatius and Polycarp. Well, I don't think Ignatius necessarily, but then you have Polycarp, for example. These people were taught by, I think Polycarp was from Peter. So we have people that are taught by the disciples themselves, and then a tradition is being passed on as to how the scriptures are meant to be.
Can
Okay,
I
but
just chime in on a couple things that have been said?
Uh, sure, be quick because
Oh,
he's got to go
okay,
soon.
really quick. There's a difference between making a claim that turns out to be true and making a scientific claim. A scientific claim is much more specific, and science didn't exist until past like few hundred years. And then also, when you say that anyone who doesn't follow the Bible the way you do, or exactly, or whatever it was you said, how they're not a Christian. I should note. It should be noted then that you're using a private definition of the word Christian, in which your specific denomination is Christianity, and then everything else is some kind of off-brand.
I
And
agree.
that's the end of what I can remember that I wanted to chime in on.
Yeah, if I can interrupt for 1 second, is my mic working this time?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It was doing weird stuff last time, apparently. I just wanted to point out, actually, a little while ago, when you get to examples like things with, for example, curing leprosy and what have you, in the text, it's not saying God said do this. This is just a right that the people had at the time, and you have to kind of learn how to draw the boundary between the two. There's a lot of things in there, especially pertaining to the Judaic law and what have you, that it doesn't specifically say God said thou shalt, etc., etc. A lot of these were just the cultural things at the time, that this is how they enforced their laws and this is how they judge things according to Judaic law. There is a difference between divine laws that was passed on and Judaic law.
Yeah,
Doesn't Jesus say that he didn't Jesus say that he came back to fulfill all of the Old Testament laws though?
yeah, that was
Exactly.
him trying to be
Exactly.
the. That was him
So
trying to
where
be
so there's a
That was him
contradiction
trying.
there.
Exactly.
Hmm?
So I actually agree with that guy. I agree with that guy when he says, when I say Christian, I'm only talking about my private definition because let's be real here. A lot of people have a bogus definition. It's like, I think mine's makes more sense, because you can't, claim that this book was inspired by the perfect supreme being and then
Hang
pick,
on.
pick and choose pick and choose the passages in there that you want to take seriously and give them arbitrary time frames in which they become invalid when it itself, if he wanted to send you that message, he would have put it in there. He would have inspired people to say that in the book. So
If God
Well,
wanted me to believe in him, he would have appeared to me himself instead of sending his cronies after me. But
we
yeah,
actually have
beyond
a
that's true.
couple.
That's
that,
true also. That's true also. But two things can be true at the same time.
but
So
But
yeah.
beyond that, it should also be noted here that a definition isn't necessarily bogus. Dictionaries just describe usage. When I said private definition because you're using one that differs
Yeah, I
from
know. I
general
already said that
usage.
I agree with you. I agree, and I'm just saying that I basically believe that mine's is better. Like that's all I'm saying. I have like the same view on like love, for example. Like when you might say, God like allowing some people to suffer and all that is love, and I'll say like that's not love. And when I'm saying love, I mean like not letting people suffer, and you might say, okay, I'm using a private definition of love, and I'll say, okay, but
Well, there's
mine's is
times God is
better,
not. There's times God is not all loving in these cases.
Oh, I know. I didn't mean to get off topic with that, but I kind of wanted to reply to the other guy, but I think I lost my train of thought though.
What
But
kind of amazes me though is a lot of time I keep hearing the same kind of objections over and over, and a lot of the time they don't account for a basic understanding of things like Judaic law, for example.
Hmm.
Now, in the case of a lot of the laws that aren't abided by anymore, even in Judaism, most of them would be the temple laws. The temple doesn't exist anymore. If you don't have the temple, those laws no longer apply. That's kind of an obvious thing when you think about it. But also that passage where it's talking now I'm going to go back to the Greek for a brief moment here. In the passage where it's talking about Jesus fulfilling the law, etc., what it actually says there, if you go to the Greek, is that he's bringing them forward in time. Now, this line, incidentally, is where he said that he's not here to fulfill the law, but I believe it's to destroy it, is how it's normally iterated in the King James and what have you. But in the actual Greek, what he's saying is that that they will be brought forward in time, not destroyed, not killed, not abandoned, what have you, which implies that the laws will change and evolve over time, potentially, depending on your read of it.
Yeah, that sounds like it's up to interpretation whether or not he's going to bring it back into the present because they're not really followed or they're going to be updated to new cultures and whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, either
What
way,
about the original Hebrew?
that is actually, well, the thing is, when you're talking about the New Testament, you're talking Koine Greek, you're not talking Hebrew.
Yeah, the Hebrews. Oh fuck.
The
You're
okay.
you're talking about Koine Greek at that point. You're not talking about Hebrew or Aramaic at that particular point of the text.
Yeah. Which an interesting thing also to point out is that the apostles and even Jesus himself, they didn't quote from the Hebraic scriptures. They quoted directly from the Septuagint, and we can tell by this because of the way that it's worded within an English translation. So once again, I mean, when I make this statement, which you kind of disagreed with, that this is why people are able to tell that the book is not making a scientific claim in what its theological basis, what its meaning supposedly is, the theological messaging, because we're able to study and understand what it's supposed to be. Like, well, for example, we're able to tell when in the New Testament, they're quoting from the Old Testament. They'll say something like, "For it is written," or "as the Scriptures say," and that's it. Because when it says the Scriptures, they're not referring to New Testament. New Testament is still being in the process, and they're not quoting as a divine authority. They're quoting Old Testament at this particular point.
Can I you? Well, when you say that,
Hmm.
again, you said we can tell because this, that, and the third. And that could not be further from the truth. We can use whatever our personal biases is, whatever our personality more likely dictates. We can use all these other things to derive a conclusion that makes us think that it's the most reasonable, but that doesn't mean that it's what it's actually intended for.
Well,
Again, this is
actually, that's a
what
matter of whether it's an eisegetical or an exegetical read of it.
I don't
well,
know
I
what those
don't,
two
I
words
don't
mean.
mean, I don't know what those mean, but I'm still right. Let me finish. Um, so, for example, you might interpret Adam and Eve's story differently, and I've heard, people who say that Adam and Eve's story was not literal. There are a lot of people who say it's not literal. Some people say, how they say Adam, it meant the first atom, and it was talking about science. It was talking about creation, and Eve was the evening when, like, just random. And some people believe that, like, that God is more like a force, like Star Wars, like the force. Like, I'm just telling you, like,
Pantheism, I
I've
believe, is what they call it.
yeah, yeah, but the whole thing is these people are sincere and they're actually reading from the same book. But and I get why, because the person that believes that is more of a eccentric type person, and she's more like all loving and all, so I can understand why she said that, and then I can understand why some
I
people.
understand the spiritard attitudes. I used to
Yeah,
associate with those people. I used to be one.
exactly. But the whole thing is, this is why we should only, well, this is why I think we should only go by if it actually says it. That is the best way to determine it. If it actually says it in the Bible. You get what I'm saying?
So you're actually promoting more literalism.
Absolutely. But I mean, with common sense, of course. Like I said, when you hear allegory, but they pretend that things, like, for example, the Adam and Eve story was not, it showed no signs of not being literal. It was written as if it was literal.
You
So
mean other than the actual narrative style of the story itself?
no, the you might be one of them, but I think the literal interpretation is more popular. So then what?
I made me a man just like the Lord did, Eve said.
I
I
mean,
mean, come on, dude. It's clearly a so-so story. It's regarded by Jews as being one. Sitting there
um,
and understanding how the people that wrote the book, so to speak, actually regarded it might be helpful to you.
is there like evident, like statistics on the percentage of people who take it literal versus not? I don't know. I probably could Google it, but from what I've seen, I think most people take it literal.
Dude, you're talking Christians and young Earth creationists. I'm talking people that wrote the book. It's like all those people that sit there and dissect Shakespeare without actually consulting any people that have actually studied Shakespeare their whole life.
Hey, that might be true, but for me, for someone who doesn't believe, right? What can I do? Like, for someone who doesn't believe, I can absorb all these different claims and take them on. And I mean, like, literally, I've heard like 1,000. So, and I can take them head on, or I can just say, how about we focus on what it actually says?
Well,
Oh, but as
how
far
about
as no,
how about not
the style
actually
is a
pushing
literal style.
people? How about not pushing people towards fundamentalism by insisting that they must read it literally to be a
No,
Christian?
I'm not. No, I would rather just not believe that at all because it makes no sense. But if you claim that you're getting your moral guidelines from this book, I would want consistency there. Like, but
And so would I.
I disagree completely. I think it's written
I'd rather
direct
people
and literal.
not be
Well,
consistent
then
with
if
what's
you're
in the
saying
book
that
and just figure out their own morality.
well, so if you're gonna say that, then, and I'm talking to Mark, not Anase. Yeah, I'm not going to use the joke that I normally use on him. But Mark, concerning that, you're saying like, the literary style. I mean, don't you think it's important to understand what the literary style is to begin with for any
Yeah,
literature?
absolutely.
And like I said, as far as that story and the majority of like the evil ones that just whenever it's evil, the rate at which people say that it was just a metaphor goes up exponentially. And this is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Somebody was calling my phone. I'm sorry if y'all heard that loud noise.
That's cool.
So what I'm saying is
Hmm.
they never say, for example, when they say slavery, and then people try to say, "Oh, slavery didn't mean slave," and then when God said, something about hate, and it's like, "Oh, hate didn't mean hate," but whenever it says love, they never say love didn't mean love, and like that's a huge indicator. Like I've never heard the argument anytime where he used love that it doesn't mean love, but every time it's something evil, they always say it was a metaphor.
I would like to point out, however, that there are very many different loves in the New Testament.
Hmm.
The
Yeah.
Greek is a far more descriptive language, the Koine Greek at least.
Hmm.
Uh, in fact, most languages are far more descriptive than
Koine
English.
Greek,
English,
Koine Greek in particular has 3 words for love to try to differentiate
right,
them.
exactly. And I was going to get to that. But anyway, you got it. There we are. Anyway, the point
Japanese
is,
has 3 different words for love.
well, there's a
Oh.
lot of languages that have different words for different for things we only have one word for. There are many shades of love, and many languages try to go ahead and describe those shades. That's all I was trying to say.
The
Hey,
problem is
Mark.
really when you take any kind of text as being sacrosanct without actually sitting there and spending the time to actually try to understand the authorship, understand the culture and people from which it arose, you're going to end up losing almost all the meaning. And this I kind of consider to be the problem with so many people that are Christians on here is that they will sit there and just look at the words on the page and go, yep, 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 that's it, that's literal. And what I find even more ridiculous is the number of atheists that run around and try and push Christians to be even more literal in their read.
Well, I'm sorry, I have to leave the hangout. Well, I just want to
Hey,
watch the
hey, Mark.
championship.
Can I
Yeah.
ask you something before you go?
Yes, sure.
Dang, Gary. All right, bro. Uh, what? You laughing? Uh,
I said my kidneys are failing. I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be right
oh,
back. I
okay.
didn't
I
realize it
thought,
was going to become something live and online.
All
My
right.
bad.
So. All right.
yeah,
So.
I
He was
thought it was
trying to
real.
parse the joke in the text chat.
All right. So what do you? All right. So what? Thing you wanted to?
Mark. What I wanted to say is, what do you think about going from King James and just going backwards and going to the Greek and Hebrew?
Do I think people?
Yeah,
You're
yeah. Do
saying?
you see anything wrong with us nowadays just going from King James to looking at the Hebrew and Greek?
No. I just basically think that the translation is pretty much as accurate as it can get, and so like for example, if you change a small few words, that's not going to change the whole story. It's sort of like the whole slavery thing. Like you can
Oh
try to.
wow. Did you say that the King James was like as good as it was gonna get?
No, I'm saying.
I'm,
Well,
I'm
yeah.
saying I'm saying that on the English term. I mean, I was wondering if he was more like me, where I think that we should exegete out of the Hebrew and Greek also, but
I think
just
we're better off.
leave
off
King James
yeah.
as the English only and be able to go back to the original instead of uh all these new
Yes.
interpretations and all
The,
that.
the King James is
But
actually a horrible, horrible interpretation at that.
Nah, I
but
wouldn't
that
say that.
It's
the king,
actually
the
one
king.
of the worst. It's horrible, dude.
Okay, as
Yeah,
the
Well.
only
I,
English person in the room, the literal term is called the authorized version of the Bible.
I knew
Just
he was
pointing
gonna
that
go
out.
there. He knew he
Thank
was
you.
gonna go
I'm
there.
just saying it was authorized because of the time in which we lived in the United Kingdom.
Well,
We
there
took
you
bits
go.
out, put shit in, did it all, whatever.
well,
It's exactly what Heretic
the
said. It's fucking terrible. Do not read that shit. Bad for
King
your brain.
James.
I read it.
I'm
No, but I'm
pretty
just saying
sure
it's wrong.
to the
Okay.
original
It's literally
language as best as we can.
it was literally
The
written for
message, the
anybody who
message spread the
studies
word.
English. Anybody who studies English history knows that book was written for political reasons.
Yeah, yeah.
End
Oh
of
no,
story. End of story.
All right.
oh
Okay,
no,
so
it's not.
Exactly what my
Bye.
good friend
all
said.
right. Well, let me just say, can I say one last thing before I leave about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so let's say I really don't believe. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. They took their time and translated it. So we're going to say, okay, they didn't do a good job for some reason. All right. So let's say, and I do agree, you should always go by the original because it has been constantly changing, and we all know that the Bible has been constantly changing and evolving, and they're trying to omit a lot of the evil stuff out. So it probably would be more evil or whatever. But let's
That'll be
not
a
pretend.
conversation
And
for
plus,
that.
no, I also want to challenge people who have this great definitions or whatever. Translate some of the stories and tell me if we're not getting like pretty much the same narrative. Like there may be a lot of words, like again there might be a lot of words that's different, and I have to use this as an example, kind of cliche, but like the slavery thing, right? So let's say like a lot of those words were different. Then would the conclusion of the story be people were not bought and owned as property, and they were not beaten, and they were not sold and taken and raped? Or would it really be that with the original translation, or would it be pretty much more or less the same?
Well, it'd be the same because we know how people treated each other in them times.
Exactly.
Look,
Hang on.
yes,
Actually, wait. When you're talking about the slavery, you're talking Old Testament, dude. You're not talking New
No,
Testament. You're
I'm
talking
talking about the
Aramaic.
whole thing. I was just
well,
using that as an example, though. I was
yeah,
just saying, like, we're pretty much going to get we pretty much going to get the
got the
same
same
gist of it.
narrative. It's a narrative, right? If you look back in the past, we treat each other pretty shitty anyway. Today, imagine how it was back then. It would be
Oh,
pretty.
I'm sure of that. I'm not doubting that.
I'm telling you, it was.
I
It was
think what
pretty
Mark
bad.
is trying to say is that when we compare the translations, we're not going to get the difference between the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Evolution.
Exactly. We're not. Yeah, basically, we're going to
However,
get like.
It's gonna be around about the same shit, basically.
actually, hang on though, because here's the thing. When it comes down to that, I'm going to use your analogy in this. If you actually include the Jewish scholarship and in terms of things like the Septuagint and the Pentateuch and what have you, if you go back by the actual Jewish scholarship, you apply the history to it, this and that, you don't end with either Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Revolution. You end up with Dragon Ball Abridged.
Oh, I thought you'd end up with Journey to the West, because that was the original that it was based on.
Well, that was the end of the conversation with Mark.
I
Until
wanted
then,
some Dragon Ball.
hold on, Sly, hold on, Sly.
Sorry.
I gotta do my funny intro thing because the first half of the show is done.
Yay!
Okay, so today we're gonna do the funny intros before we get to the whole thing. Okay, with us, he is the guy who carries a sword. He's a tiny chibi, and he has glasses, apparently. He is Anus Skywriter.
Anus.
You didn't even get the second pronunciation right. It's Anase.
Good point.
Yeah,
I'm an idiot.
Yo,
Anyways,
they'd call you an anus, which I thought was quite funny.
and with
A
us
lot of people
is-
call me that, though.
Hold on. This one needs respect. He
Something
is the furry with, well, he's skeptical. He is Skeptic Squirrel.
What's up, Squirrel? Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, I try to be skeptical of all sides of the discussion because it gets so muddy.
Yeah, that's because of lack of knowledge.
Alright,
It was
so
made that way, apparently.
Then we have Bert. I think that's the name from Bert and Ernie.
Yep, that's
What's up?
exactly what it is. Hello, Bert.
What's up, Bert? How you doing?
Ernie. Hello, Bert.
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Alright, good.
Sorry.
And then this is an interesting individual that we have join us. He is an interesting fellow I met. For all the Protestants out there, he's a Roman Catholic, but do not be afraid. He is still awesome. He is what some would call a furry, and well, just an overall cool guy. He's also the leader of the Christian furry community that is small and growing on Google+. He is Arctic Nova. Arctic, how you doing?
Good.
All right, welcome to the show.
A Christian fairy. Wow, that's cool.
Wait, what? Oh, okay. I almost thought you called him a Christian fairy. I'm like, dude.
What are you saying? Christians can't have magic wands?
Yeah. Or wings? Are you sexist, Christian?
No.
I like my wings. Okay, I can fly around and cast spells.
Actually, I was kind of going to the whole Abraham and the staff thing after that, but okay.
And then one more intro. Then he's a warthog, and he's not afraid to ram you over. He is Gary.
Hello, Gary.
The name is so anticlimactic.
I know it's been a while. Sty and Shadow, Remy.
It has been, man. Where have you been, dude? Yeah.
I've been in the hospital.
Oh, fuck. Well, that's not good. Are you okay?
Well, my kidneys are failing, and all kinds of things are going on. Am I okay?
Well, you're still alive, so that's good.
Alive.
That's what matters.
Yep.
So,
Here I am.
ladies and gentlemen, give a round of applause for our wonderful audience.
Yeah, I was just about to use that.
Oh,
Well,
really?
you got there first.
Yeah.
So fuck off.
I opened up the effects tab.
All right.
Oh, and by the way,
Oh my god.
perfect.
Terrible.
I actually am furry. I got hair all over me.
So
That's not something I needed to know.
let's get Arctic's take on that then. Hey, Arctic, are you there?
Yep.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, what furry rate would you give for Gary and his description and, of course, his avatar? On a scale
I
of...
don't even know him. I just met him.
Well, you might get to know him later on.
Avatar, I'd say he's perfect.
He's gonna get to know me pretty quickly.
What is a furry anyway?
You just said, well, I'm kind of a furry, but I'm assuming you was trying to go with a different approach on that term.
Well, let's just put it simply. Did you adore, yes or no, the Disney's Fox version of Robin Hood?
I don't think I saw it.
Actually, the
back in the
question
show.
would be more,
I
did it
don't
get
think
you
so.
hot? But hey.
Yeah, actually it would, but that's inappropriate. But yes, it would.
I don't think I've seen that.
I love this conversation so much. I love the banter.
Okay, well, if we're talking about furries that get you hot, let's see here. It's either does Minerva Mink or Lola Bunny make you feel hot?
Anyway.
No comment.
Yeah, no
Oh
comment.
my god, this is so.
No
I
comment.
know it's awkward.
All right, so let's since he's new here.
Try
let's-
fucking a unicorn.
Dear Lord, I am going to kick you out if we don't.
Wait, what about a unicorn?
Hang on. Sty, please take your dick out of the unicorn and let the host speak.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me carry on here.
How do you know she's not fucking?
I wanna monitor this without having to put people in timeout. No.
All right, go on. I apologize.
All right. There you go. Arctic,
Yep,
how you doing?
fine.
I'm sorry you had to endure with the awkward part of our usual shenanigans.
All right, I'm used to that.
I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay. So, Arctic, I guess since you're already on here, well, tell us a bit about yourself so that some of the people that are watching or will watch when this is posted, kind of a bit about yourself since you're new to this type of hangout with us.
Well, I'm Catholic. I'm a furry, and I run the Christian Furries community on Google Plus, and that's about it.
Catholic furry and runs the Christian furry community on Google Plus. All right, that sounds interesting. Which brings me to another question: Has the Pope came to you lately to help make your community become part of the Catholic Church's mission to do their thing with the Vatican?
Oh, perhaps.
The secret emerges.
So, are you black? Black kind of, your avatar is all black. Does that mean you're a Jesuit?
What? Oh, I get it now. The outfit.
I was actually going to ask what kind of fursuit he had if he had one.
Oh, there's a question.
I didn't
I
think
do,
of that.
I do not have a fursuit.
Oh, not yet. If you do a
So,
search online, there used to be a woman that went by the idea of White Wolf on a page that actually made custom fursuits. Just saying. She's obsessed with Lion King. If you find the page, you'll know it.
Sounds interesting.
so Arctic, like, who are the other, are there any other active members in the furry community within your deal? Because I know there's Sea Fox,
Yep.
who I've talked to a bit and seems like a very interesting guy. I forget how you pronounce her name, but she's trying to make some fanime thing or something.
I don't know how to pronounce her name either. She
Hmm.
actually changed her profile name
Ah,
to what it is now. It used to be Look Before You Leah. But
yeah. But yeah, she seems interesting, but I mean, is there any others that you've...
Fear Fox is very active in that.
Mm-hmm. Pure Fox?
Yep.
Hmm.
I think
So
that's his name.
So he's purely a fox.
Yep.
So he's the
On
one
the
in...
internet, no one knows that you're secretly a fox.
Yes. It's like the enter the room and he's like, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And then just turns. It's a fox and he's looking at him.
Ding 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 ding.
Oh, I swear, I knew that was coming.
Don't make me get Fundy Fox out. He hates that song. One way to get him cussing.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh,
So one thing I should mention: Arctic Shadow Heathen is our pup. I was about to say sock puppet, but he's just our puppet guy. He's several puppets. One of them including Fundy Fox, who is a fox that promotes the religion of Foxianity.
Yes, Foxianity. He believes that Jesus was actually a six-tailed kitsune from China.
I thought it was kitsune.
That's not how he pronounces it, so I don't know. It's his
Okay.
religion. I leave it to him.
Okay then.
And it was like all the arguments on how to properly pronounce Jesus' name.
And that apparently the Dead Flea scrolls are, how are they written?
It's actually if I remember correctly, you'd have to ask him. But if I remember correctly, he lays down parchment and then shakes, and the fleas arrange into letters, and then he has to read the fleas.
Interesting.
Your gags are glorious, dude.
Yeah.
I should really read more into your channel.
All right.
My channel's a little bit on hiatus right now. I'm trying to get book 2 finished, and book 1's currently being edited. So.
Cool.
Oh, totally unrelated, incidentally.
Yes.
So welcome back, Mark. Did your team lose?
No, that's a different Mark.
Yeah.
It's not. It's the same one because I just said so. Like, literally. Well, prove me wrong.
It's Mark Thomas.
No.
Not Mark Anthony.
Prove me wrong. Just prove me wrong.
Oh, no, he is talking about me, aren't you, Steve?
Actually, hang on. I know how to prove you wrong really quick. Mark, I'm going to ask you to say the dumbest thing that comes to mind.
Atheism.
Not nearly dumb enough to be out of Mark Anthony's mouth. There you go.
There you go. Dear Lord, I feel like the show has been taken over by some people. There are people using the special effects buttons.
People.
Stop making funny control things with your fingers.
Next thing we know, Sea Fox automatically enters in the hangout and he's wearing a fursuit.
And next thing you know, Jesus is walking on water because some dumb fucker couldn't see up a hill when he was.
Alright, I want to know who made the left button on that one. in my hangout.
You know it's always me.
It was
dude.
ass over there. It was anal or ass or whatever.
You know what? I'm going to start taking the controls here at this point, so...
Okay, I'll stop.
Alright, good boy. Alright.
I'm not a dog.
Anyways, so...
Don't push him. He's religious. He will put the wrath of God on you.
Okay, so... hang on, actually, I haven't actually had a chance to talk to Jay in a hangout. Jay, how you doing?
I'm good.
Your mic's kind of a bit low.
Oh, hold on.
Okay. Don't know if that has anything to do with him being on
He
the
looks
phone.
like a small child.
A small child. Huh?
He
Yeah,
looks like a
with the bow
combination between like modern millennials, an Asian, and one of those barbershop quartet singers.
That's somethingist.
Jay, how do you
That's
feel about that?
X-phobia.
Jay, how do you feel about that as your
I'm
description?
blaming you since you're the one who made me this avatar.
Ooh, good. You should be given the full one because that's what you're at. Besides the hair, that's what you look like in real life from the picture I saw.
Pretty much. Except I'm not Asian, so that doesn't really count.
Yep, he's not Asian.
Are you sure?
Pretty
I
sure.
saw a picture.
Look, all anime is Asian, and it's why they all have those eyes.
Actually, no. They have characters from all over the place with the same eyes.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, though it's not anime, have you seen Avatar? Have you
That's
seen
why
Movie?
I don't see the big eyes as being Asian eyes.
Yeah.
The narrower eyes I could see being played by Asian characters in real life, but not the characters with big eyes.
So we've talked about Protestants in here before, but just so we can get Mr. Arctic more involved here. Does anyone want to try to talk about the other side of the thing? And I'm not just necessarily talking about the Christians in the room, because I know that if it comes to Catholics, they'll want to jump on this like crazy if they're Protestants, but specifically the atheists in here.
Okay. What?
Okay.
What was the?
What am I jumping on this time, and how much is it going to cost me?
We have Arctic in here, which he is not only just a furry and a Christian furry at that, he is also a Catholic.
Yep.
Okay.
So besides all
Catholic. I was raised Catholic.
Oh, that's cool.
And they still wore their penguin suits and stuff.
Penguin suits.
The nuns.
He's talking about nuns.
Oh, nuns.
Oh, that's a glorious connection. I'm going to use that.
First, let's ask Arctic. Arctic, how do you feel about that being used to describe the outfits
Rise of Christ?
I'm having trouble kind of hearing you guys.
Oh, gee, well, the joke is ruined now.
Well, hold on a second, because I think I might know what the problem. I think I might know what the problem is. Is your phone on speaker, or are you using the audio function, like for like?
Well, I don't really have a choice. It just goes through the back of my phone on the speaker.
I think if you look at your phone, I think you're able to make the choice to go from speaker to call. At least I can.
I think that might work.
All right, can you hear us even better now?
Yeah, now it's better.
All right, there you go. All right, so they who was it? Gary made some comment about the
penguin suits.
Yeah, he was a Catholic, and he remember seeing people wearing penguin suits, and I think this was referring to the nuns or the priest outfits.
The nuns, they used to hide. They had big sleeves, and they would hide the yardsticks up there, and you would never know. Whack! Next thing you know, you'd have scars on your knuckles. I have them to prove it.
Oh.
Sounds awful.
Wait, hold on a second. First off, are you getting that penguin thing from Blues Brothers?
No, I was in Catholic school long before that movie.
Okay.
I have no idea what that is.
Wait, what?
Blues Brothers? I've never heard of that.
Anase?
Yes.
It's a show. You could go get cultured, watch it, find it. Not the new one, the old one, the original.
Yeah, we're gonna have to banish you into the corner until you watch it.
I have no idea what it is. I'm sorry.
It used to be a duo on SNL, John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd, and then they got a movie.
Yeah, that's back when SNL was actually worth watching, and now it's, not.
Well, we got 7 viewers right now watching us. Justin Wilson, the Seventh-day Adventist, had come in. So the topic is called Biblically Inerrant Friday, so we're going to have to make it relative to that, or we're going to lose people with our craziness, even if we have to have Styzor involved. So,
Talking about furries and anime, perfect
well,
topic for this stream.
well, you know what? Maybe that could be the first part of the topic for talking about the Bible and stuff like that. Arctic, as a Christian, how would you, as, the people say, justify being a furry? As a Christian.
Well, Jesus and the Bible, all that, never said there was anything wrong with it. So.
Right, but to play devil's advocate here, some people would say that an argument from silence doesn't usually prove anything. I mean, like, I know there's some people that say, like, they'll go to, like, Romans 14, say it's a Romans 14 issue. Like, some people will eat meat, and some people won't. It's just their own culture, but it doesn't necessarily violate the laws of it. I mean, like, concerning Christian furries, what kind of criticism have you or others received from it? Because I know once you told me that it's not just the Christians, but also even the furries themselves that have given you some criticism.
You kind of get hate from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
Because for most furries, a lot of them are LGBT, and they don't like Christians because they think all Christians hate LGBT, which we don't. And then on the Catholic side, or Christian side, the Christians say furries aren't real Christians. I don't know why, though. But
so is that all they say, or do they, like, I mean, have you, like, heard someone try to use specific arguments before?
Based on what I've heard, here's my nuanced position. Everyone's full of shit. Yay.
Here, I have one.
Or would I not say, apparently.
For Arctic.
Let's let Arctic answer.
The guy that these people that dress up like dogs and stuff, are they furries? The ones that want to be doggies and they walk around and their wives got them on a leash, and it's been in the news here recently.
Wait, a person
I think you're talking
hold on.
about Therians and other kin. I forget what a Therian is, but I remember it was somehow different from a furry.
Arctic, do you want to answer that one that Theory had?
Well, I mean, if you want to consider yourself a furry, then you are a furry. That's all there is to it. There's no, like, guidelines for it. If you want to be a furry, be a furry.
Yeah, but
there you go.
I guess it's I don't know. It doesn't seem to me like it has any real meaning then.
I could define it slightly better as people.
Hold on, let Arctic answer.
Wait, what was the question? Like,
well, he's basically saying that what you're saying is true. Then the term or the concept of being a furry doesn't really seem to have much of a meaning or a purpose.
I can give it a better definition. Just off the top of my head, I would say a furry is a person who is interested in the culture surrounding anthropomorphic animals. So, artwork, costumes, personalities, etc.
Oh, like that guy that used to be on all the time on G+. He used to wear a bear suit all the time.
I don't know about that. Mainly because I have no idea what you're talking about, so I don't have any context.
It's been a while. I've been on G+ since G+ was on. So, I guess I have a little more history. But there was a guy that used to, whenever he was on, he had on a bear suit. And if he came on and he didn't happen to have it on, he'd take a moment to put it on.
Sounds interesting.
Sounds like my kind of guy. Take a party.
Sounds like the kind of guy you only invite to a party when you want everyone to laugh at him, though.
Well, everybody usually did. The wolf! Was he a wolf or a bear? I can't remember, Stein.
It was a fucking wolf.
My bad. He was a wolf.
Yeah, he used to fucking literally use a fucking mask and everything. It was.
I swear, every time I hear Stike talk, it's almost like within 1 second, the main adjective he uses for describing something is the F word.
Well, that's because
the way he says it.
it's one of the most versatile words in the English language, though. It's in
Yeah,
England. We
it
use
is
it
the
like
most beautiful word.
hello. It's like, fuck me, you look good. That's compliments. We don't give a. See, I was gonna say the point is we use the word like it's just it's such a great word to use because it rolls off the tongue. It sounds nice. In America, not so. Americans don't really like swear words.
Americans are
In the
about
United Kingdom, we take it as an expression of thought.
Americans,
Hence
you
Shakespeare.
could say that Americans are cunts about the fuck word.
Yeah, they find it offensive. We're in England, which is kind of funny. We don't.
All right, before we
Fuck
get
is
banned,
not an offensive word.
before this whole channel gets banned for excessive use of words that are inappropriate for the younger kids, let us, you know what? Let's get some of our other pals in on this. Jay, do you have a? I'm kind of lost at what we're doing today. Most of this was just trying to talk with what's his name, Mark Anthony, about that thing he said about the Bible and like it's supposedly being a book on science strictly.
I love just derailing a good conversation entirely. It's always fun.
There's no way the Bible is anything to do with science. Not a chance.
Right.
Nope. Yeah, the Bible is not a science book. Anybody who tells you that is a moron. Sorry.
And I made a distinction earlier. I don't know if you guys were in it. I only know a couple of you guys were, I think. There's a difference between making a claim that happens to be true and making a scientific claim. Making a scientific claim is a lot more specific. It has to do with the processes of science and also the way you word things. So it's not just making a claim, but it's also like designing an experiment.
Well, there's an important word in this one. Arse. It's called experimentation.
Yeah, and also by presenting evidence.
Yes.
So a scientific claim
that
is
can
more
be
than just a
refuted.
one that's falsifiable. So
Take
there's a distinction between.
As well.
Yeah,
Wait,
you
what?
can't do that with the Bible. The Bible's
Hold on, Sty, hold on. What were you saying, Mark?
Well, I was just saying science books take away 15 years to update themselves as well. The Bible doesn't need to do that.
Huh?
Science books take away 15 years to update themselves.
They take years to update. Hold on. What do you mean that?
Well, whenever they discover new things, it takes them 15 years to update it. The Bible doesn't need to take that long to update it, so.
Well, it has times where it's updated, yeah. So I mean, the Bible is even updated at times. Have you
translated, not updated.
Well, it is. That's the point.
The Bible gets updated with translations in their own in different languages.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about. I'm talking about updated from things that are no longer true.
Huh?
Yeah, the actual information itself doesn't get updated. It's just more like it gets translated and some things might be cherry-picked or reinterpreted, but it's not like updated in the same way that science is.
In this, well, in a sense, we have for example, we have the ASV, NASB, NIV, and some of the others. Will take they'll say, look, 1 John 5:7. It was in these other translations, like the King James. Oh, for some reason it's not in there. Why? Well, because of discoveries. Huh?
It got taken out.
Yeah, and you know why?
Political revolutions in England is why.
No.
At the same time. No, it was everybody in the United Kingdom knows why that book was written.
Why was 1 John 5:7 removed in the modern translation?
We had this little thing called the Tudors and the Stuarts, and they didn't like each other much, and some of them were Christians, the other ones were Protestants, and they just kind of fucking killed each other all the time.
No, it's because we don't have...
I just told you the truth, dude. That's a fact.
Yeah, well, archaeology proves that that verse is not...
They don't give a fuck about archaeology. It's a political statement.
Well, there you go.
What
You
is a
don't even
political
care about
statement?
the actual matter of
The King
why
James
this verse.
Bible was a political statement.
Oh,
basically.
well, yeah, it was. We're not talking about the King James.
Even
We're
then,
talking about the modern version.
No,
people
well, I'm
around
just
the
saying
time,
that was a Bible. Right?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that we could use some order in this chat. One person at a time actually articulates their point.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So,
I will shut
Stack.
up. I don't
Okay. So, Stack, listen.
Mhm.
Concerning this, the people around the King James time, they didn't have the manuscripts amount that we have today.
Agreed.
So now we have them, and look, they're even more ancient than what they had. And guess what? The earliest manuscripts, including Sinaiticus and Vaticanus, they did not have 1 John 5:7, and the reason why is because it was never there to begin with.
Yeah, I think that's what makes it different from science books, because like I've got an old science book that says like the appendix is a vestigial organ. But you know, if we went, if I took out a new science book and saying that it's no longer known as vestigial, it'd be wrong for me to go back and say, no, look, the original says it's vestigial. That must be true.
Yeah, but the
So
thing
that would be the thing I would say it's different about science.
Yeah. So.
Whose turn is it next?
So I mean, as far as that, I mean, and that's not the only one. I mean, we have verses 9 through 20 of Mark 16 is not in there.
Is that through the first stone?
Hmm?
The first about whoever shall through the first stone, that's not in there anymore, is it?
Yeah, the woman caught in adultery, where Jesus says, "Whoever's without sin, cast the first stone." That's not in the
Okay.
early.
Really funny. That's the most common verse I
Wait,
find.
wait. What?
Throw at them.
Hold on. Wait. What I want to say is they removed the book of Ezekiel from the Gospels.
The book of Ezekiel from the Gospel. Wait, what?
Yep. The guy who spoke to God, apparently, who got took up into a fucking ship. His book was removed from the Gospels.
Wait, Ezekiel is an Old Testament book.
No, they fucking removed it though.
Jonah got tossed off the ship.
No kidding.
With who?
Because he spoke to God. He's
Who?
the only guy known. The guy who said the wheel on the wheel. You know who he is, right? He was the only person who literally said, "I spoke to fucking God."
All
And
right, so
if you read his gospel, Ezekiel.
Okay.
Enoch. You're thinking of Enoch.
Oh, sorry, Book of Enoch. Fucking not Ezekiel. Sorry. Yes, I apologize. Redacted. Sorry.
That's
no, wrong word. Sorry, wrong name. I
Now
apologize.
I'm going to source the old the old phrase, the old
yes,
quote
it
from
was
you.
the Book of Enoch. Sorry, yes, it was that one. He was the only guy who spoke to fucking God, apparently, and he was like, "Woo, spaceships, wheels and wheels." And they were like, "Oh, don't you can't say that. That's fucked up." And he was like, "Shh, go away." Sorry, but thank you for correcting me, whoever that was. Thank you, I appreciate it. Don't know why I said Ezekiel. Thinking of something fucking else. I was listening to Bob Marley. That's Judaism, Ezekiel. Whatever. 12 tribes of Judah, and all that malarkey. But yes, Enoch, the book of Enoch. I mean, if you think about the history of the planet, and you tell me that the planet only started with this one book, you insult every other religion on the planet. Not because they're right or wrong. It's just because we have this little word called history.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who made the first wheel? Well, we know where that came from. It was a rat. Did they believe in God? Pretty sure they did. And their story's bonkers as well. Because they said they came from the fucking sky. It's like space aliens and shit. It's like, are you for real, dudes? Well, look, hey.
Anyone want to tackle style on that one?
Well, some dude did. Bit crazy.
All right, Jay, Justin, y'all want to tackle style on this?
You don't need to tackle me. It's just a historical fact. I'm just pointing out.
I don't want to tackle you personally. I want to kick you in the nuts on this. Okay, I'm sorry.
Catch what I said?
What? Go on, ass. What'd you say?
I said, anyone want to introduce the token black guy of our group?
The token?
Well, I am black. I look very white in my picture, but I am actually technically black. I'm half Jamaican.
I'm about to kill some people in here.
Yeah.
Okay, dear Father, forgive me. Justin, how you doing?
All right. Doesn't seem like a mature level I can discuss in.
Well, welcome to the madhouse.
Yeah.
I'm already being driven insane already.
I'm gonna warn you, we can't stay on topic. We were talking about furries and shit earlier.
Yeah, I think I realized how we could stay on topic. If I need to cut in, I will just unbroadcast people so I could get a point in.
Yeah.
Be like Moses.
Going anywhere intellectual, it just sounds like a bunch of homeless people discussing this craziness and ideas they just read from off the floor.
So I want you to engage with Sty on this issue, so you could
Why
present
me?
it to him.
Why pick on me?
Because you're the one that always wanted a conversation with me. Well, now you're gonna get a conversation with just about everyone else in here.
It's because you're black, dude. Everyone's gonna pick on you.
I'm taking affirmative action. There we go. Go on. Anyway, sorry. The reason. So is Mark a religious person?
I was talking about Justin.
I can think. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know Mark is. Sorry.
But Justin, he's religious.
Yeah, Justin, the black guy. Yeah. So go on, Justin. What?
I don't know what I'm going on to. Am I supposed to comment on what you said? Because there's a bunch of everything. I didn't really know what you were
talking about. I'm talking about the history of the planet / the Bible context.
And where are you getting your history from?
Books.
His ass.
Like random books that you just choose to believe?
Choose to believe? Good point. Did you choose to believe the Bible?
Yes, I did.
So, what's wrong with me choosing to read a science book?
Well, I mean, if you choose to believe that, then I know where to reason with you from.
Okay. Can you choose that the sun doesn't come up over the horizon?
Well, no, because those are two different things.
Thank you. And you know what that's called? Empirical evidence.
Can we just not argue semantics? Not so much semantics. About choosing to believe things.
Let me have a little bit of fun. Come on, ass.
You spend a lot of time derailing the conversation.
Call him an ass.
So I'm just alright.
I'm just saying it's fun. Look, if you want to make a point about something and be serious, well, that's cool. We can discuss it. But I'm just trying to have a little bit of fun to get the conversation to keep flowing.
I don't have a problem with it. I just thought we might want to get back on the topic, considering how much time we spend off the rails.
Yeah. So let's actually do something that. Hold on. Let's actually do something that might be interesting. Yet at the same time, just me going off of something that I ended up accomplishing. An essay that's been posted on the 4th, and
shilling your website.
Yeah, shelling my website. Yeah, just subscribe to it and donate all your money. Make sure the minimum donation is a $100 minimum donation.
I sometimes shitpost on Tumblr. Look me up.
Yeah, and if you donate $200, you will have a guaranteed seat in heaven. Praise, prosperity, gospel, Jesus, all that lame stuff.
$100, dude. That's a lot.
But seriously, yes, this was a 35-page essay.
I don't even have $70.
I don't have 70 pence.
Point is, this is a 35-page essay that I ended up doing. Took me about a week to make, but it was pretty interesting.
Show us. Talk about it. Well,
yeah,
the case for is this? Sorry. Well, I choked to death. Is it a case for evolutionary creationism in the sense that it's true?
It's in the sense of can it be biblically?
Or is it just a statement?
Can it be biblically? Can there be a biblical case for it? And I am making the thesis that yes, it can. Especially, can a Christian believe in evolution. That's
yes, they can.
I would argue that they can. They would just have to reinterpret Genesis.
No, they don't. They don't.
That's the thing I go into with the.
Can I say the thing about Adam there? Can I say the thing about Adam? I sort of missed your scrolling down.
Here, I'm gonna put it in the side chat for y'all can.
You should probably also put it in the link. You should probably put that in the description of the stream when you're done with it.
I just did.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
No, in the description of the stream.
He means the low, the lower part when the stream's finished. Put that link in there as well.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And the about bit, the about bit.
Well, they can just check it out at www.spirituallyhonestministries.weebly.com.
Or yeah, they could just pause the video on screen and type in the link manually. It's not very hard.
Yeah. So.
Still have plenty of room for that.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's it's divided into 7 sections. First is dealing with these Genesis 1 and 2, exploring the different descriptions of its account. Second section involves the concept of Adam and Eve. What role do they play in the account? Then chapter 3 is what I was going over earlier in this hangout, theological messaging. Then,
do you think God created like a literal Adam, or is it?
I believe God created a literal Adam and Eve. Yes.
Like, do you think there's like new ways like evolutionary creation? Would you say like every other human was born through Eve?
I believe every human was born through Eve. Yes.
But doesn't the I'm gonna continue. Sorry.
So then I go over the day, evening, and morning concept, and how that doesn't have to automatically equal a 24-hour period, and especially that the early Bibles and the commentaries would prove that this wasn't always the view back then. Then you go to New Testament. What does the New Testament have to say concerning the creation? Then we go to the early church.
Do you accept evolution, Christian?
Yes, I do.
See, well, there's no problem there, is there? There's Fiona Robinson.
Yeah.
You know who she is, right? Fiona Robinson.
I know
She's a good friend of mine. She believes in the same thing, Jesus, whatever. She's got a PhD in biology.
The question is why, not if you believe or not alone. But
the topic is about whether or not you can realistically be a Christian and not just like cherry pick the Bible, like believing, I don't know, in Xenu or I'm sorry, Zeus, and still call yourself a Christian. Like that would be contradictory.
What TV show she watched? Xenu.
I was thinking of Xenu. I was thinking of Xenu from fucking Scientology.
Oh, you mean the guy who dreamt up? What was his name?
Xenu was the overlord. The guy who came up with the religion was L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, right? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's
so what CA is talking about here is whether or not you can believe in evolution and still actually be a Christian without just like cherry picking and being completely inconsistent with the faith and the source material, like you would be if you believed in Zeus.
Yeah, but
called yourself a Christian.
Well, the problem here is one of my favorite things is linguistics, right? The problem is the word belief in this scenario, because if I believe something, it doesn't necessarily make it true, does it?
Okay, you have to believe something. You have justification. In theistic view, the justification is also come from the text. So if you does it mean that you need to revisionize the text entirely in order to believe evolution or not?
No, but you can accept concepts, right? But it doesn't make them. They don't necessarily need to be true.
You're missing the point. The point is not about whether or not it's true, it's more so whether or not you can still call yourself a Christian and still believe in evolution, much in the same way it would be contradictory to say that you believe in Zeus and still call yourself a Christian.
Yeah, but not every terrorist or ISIS member, right? Not everybody's a terrorist. So
of course you have different interpretations. The question is that can you substantiate your point from the mode of discussion that the group you belong to, in this case Christian.
The question is basically whether or not evolution is compatible with the religion.
it is.
Yeah, and that's the point. And that's the point that he's trying to make a case for, because a lot of people think otherwise.
Yeah, they just did.
It took a while to illustrate that point. Not really sure why.
I know, because someone sounds like he's in a toilet.
Can you hear me now better?
Oh,
it kind of sounds like you're an astronaut talking through the radio.
Totally agree with that one.
Small step for man.
One giant leap for technology.
I'm talking from my phone, so it's because of that.
Oh, now that's better. That is better.
That's better.
That's better.
Okay. In any case, I think it's in that regard. I think it's a question: what is the point of the story itself that the Genesis account tried to tell? And I think that it's what is the role of man in the land.
Well, it's a message. It's a message of hope, innit? And well, I mean, look, I'm not religious, right? But if I read the Bible, right, the moral of the story is treat men as equal and all that good jazz.
Let me finish. Let me finish to my point.
Sorry.
In Genesis 2:7-9, the whole point is that man is you have play of words between man, Adam, to the soil, Adama. The idea itself is what is the role of man. The fall from heaven is also in touch of that. For example, that you will be a soil worker all your life. תהיה עובד אדמה. You see that the key point here is not whatever the world created in such way or ways, but what is the center. I think there is a good account on it by Leo Strauss. He does some magnificent reading on that, which show how that story itself dividing lines between two dichotomy every time, and every time it's more focused on the ground and men along the way. I would say that it's not really an issue from if you look on what more interests the story itself or the text.
Alright, so I'm sorry that we're going to have to cut this live part short, but if anyone wants to join, link is available on the page. Just come check it out and come join us. But until then, we're going to be taking it off air. So until then, as usual, Shalom Aleichem, peace be upon you, because I wish that upon you. Have a good night.